Good evening.
How are you? Hi,
Good,
everybody.
thank you. Hello.
I wasn't sure if I had actually invited you properly or not.
I
Hi,
think
Doreen. How's everybody? How are you?
Oh,
You okay, Susie?
yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, little one's asleep, so that's all good.
Oh dear. Early to bed, early to rise, maybe, is it?
Yeah, sometimes. How about you?
I'm okay, thanks. I go to bed early and I can't get up early.
Are you all recovered now? Are you feeling better?
Oh, from COVID, yeah, I don't feel too bad. Still really, really tired, but and if I'm walking, I can still feel my chest, But apart from that, much, much better.
Oh,
Hi, everybody. Can you see the names?
Yeah, I can. Lots
Yeah.
of names I know. Hello.
Yeah. I'll give it a minute to see, let a few more folk come on, and then we can start. I love your sparkling lights.
Oh, yes.
Your corner's really,
Oh,
it's really nice.
podcasting spot.
Yeah, good idea. I haven't podcast for ages. I need to get motivated again and get started. When you get away from it, it's so hard to get back.
Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Yeah. I think when you get in the flow of it, you just keep going, don't you? But
that's right.
You get out of the habit and then it's really hard to get back into.
It is, and you keep all the stuff for a wee while and you decide, yeah, I'm going to podcast, and then you put it all away because you don't.
Yeah.
And then you think you don't have anything to show.
Yeah.
Hi, Alison. There's lots of names I don't know. Do you know them?
I'm recognising lots of names, yes.
Oh, hi, Cherith.
And some new ones as well.
Yeah. I think, what time is it? It's after 7:30. Will we start, and then if anybody joins in, they can catch up.
Yeah.
Thank everybody so much for coming along and joining in. It's really nice to see lots of names that I know and names that I don't know, and it's really nice to have Susie along from Elderflower Stitches. She has dyed some lovely yarn for my sock pattern, and she's going to tell you all about that. So I thought this last wee while I've had a few new followers on Instagram, and I thought I would say hello and just tell you who I am and what I'm doing, and then Susie's going to tell you a wee bit about herself as well. Hi, Dawn. Okay, my name's Angela, and I live in Northern Ireland in County Down, and we live on a farm, as everybody knows, and if you follow me you see all the photographs of the farm and the grandchildren, etc. I started to knit socks about, I think I was counting, it was about 5-6 years ago. I had a back injury and I was stuck in the chair, and I learned to knit socks through a Zoom group, and then I've just been doing that ever since, and I have so many socks now. I don't know what to do with them. I think like everybody else that knits socks. So this is my second pattern. The first one came out just before Christmas, and it was a really huge success in comparison to my expectations. So I had this idea for another one, and I thought I would give it a go again. So I have it, and it's ready to be launched. And then I thought it would be nice to have some nice yarn. So before we go into that, Susie can tell you a wee bit about herself in case you don't know who she is.
Yes, I'm Susie. I'm in the UK as well, but I'm in England. I'm in the southeast, and I live with my lovely husband Joe and our 7-month-old baby Fergus, who's being very good, and he's gone to bed on time tonight, so that's great. And we've got a lovely cat, Beatrice, as well. She's a ragdoll Persian cross, and if you watch my podcast you'll definitely see her lounging about in the kind of vloggy bits. My mum's a really good knitter, and she tried to teach me when I was younger, but I just couldn't get to grips with it, so I gave up. But then I took it up, I think about 10 years ago, when I really got into kind of YouTube and finding lots of videos on there. I found it so helpful that you could pause it and watch it again and re-watch it until you got it. So I think once I was able to learn, I really kind of got the mojo for it, and have loved knitting ever since. And then I got into yarn dyeing a couple of years ago. I was watching some knitting podcasts and I saw these beautiful advent calendars, but I'd left it too late to order one. So I thought, you know what, I'll have a go at dyeing some up for myself. So I dyed myself up some little minis in all these different colours and wrapped them up for myself. And I haven't looked back since. I love dyeing yarn. It's so fun to get sort of inspiration from, you know, a flower that you see in the garden centre or a song that you hear, and be able to turn that into really artwork that then lots of lovely people can make into jumpers and socks. And I get such a massive kick out of seeing my yarn being knit up into all of these wonderful things. So it's a very exciting job to have.
Yeah, and your yarns they're lovely. If anybody hasn't tried them, it would be a good chance to try them. So I came up with this pattern. It's called Bridge Before Home Socks, and I should have printed it out, but I didn't, so I can't even show you the piece of paper, but I can show you the socks. And it really was inspired by my childhood memories when I would have picked potatoes for some pocket money. Here in Northern Ireland we would have called it gathering spuds. I don't know whether anybody knows that frame or that speak or not, but you had to use a bicycle to get around, and there always was a bridge on my way home, and just after the bridge there was this massive hill, and it took all your might after a day in the potato field to get up the hill. So I always would have stopped at the bridge for a rest, and then headed up the hill home. So it's that bridge that really gave me the inspiration for these socks. And I hope when you see the pattern, if you've been watching the stories, you can maybe see a bridge in them too. I don't know. This is sort of the bridge and the stop on the start of it. So yeah, that's where the inspiration from the pattern came from. Also in the stories, if you were following them, you would have seen I put a wee bit up just about how the process worked, from the pattern right through to the test knitters and to getting it published. So it's actually should be live over in Ravelry if it has worked out okay. Then I thought it would be nice to have some yarn to match the pattern, and I had been speaking to Susie and I'd sent her a photograph of the bridge, and she sent back some lovely splodges of colour underneath, and from there then we went back and forward, and eventually there was some yarn dyed up, and I have them here. My test knitters have been working away, and Heather, my lovely friend, knit them for me in a beautiful grey sparkle. Have you a name for them, Susie?
I haven't
did you name them individually, or?
No, I haven't named the separate colourways. There's sort of a bundle in the shop and you can choose your different options. So yeah.
Okay, well Susie can tell you sort of what the options and things are, but it's her sparkle, her Stellina base, and this is the grey from the depiction of the bridge. Like my first pattern, the pattern's just on the leg of the sock, so once you get to the leg then it's plain sailing home on your foot. So it's a bit of mindless knitting. It's a really simple lace pattern with just one stitch here that is called the elongated stitch. So it's not I think there's 8 rows, so it's not a complicated pattern at all. If you haven't, one of the test knitters had never knit socks before, and she was Spanish, so she translated the pattern and was able to knit the sock. So that just shows how it's easy, it's easy to catch on to.
Must be a very
yeah,
well
I think that's
written.
Pardon?
It must be a very well written pattern, Angela.
I don't know. There was some ideas from the test knitters, which was great, and I've got incorporated them into the pattern now. So hopefully any wee problems there were, they've been ironed out. There wasn't really very much, so I was indebted to really good test knitters. Some of the girls have knitted with their own variation of the heel. This is just the heel flap and gusset in the pattern, with the I have partridge heel, but it has been knit with different heels and they've all fitted in perfectly well, and they have been knit with different toes as well, so there's no problem in incorporating your own toe if you want. The difference with it is when I was working out gauge, because of the pattern, the size of the sock is set on 2 different size needles. So if you cast on normally a 64 inch for small to medium, a 64 stitch, sorry, for small to medium, if you use a 2mm needle, it'll give you the size of your normal sock. And if you're inclined to cast on a 72 stitch sock, you can use the 2.25mm needle, and it works out, the gauge works out. Don't think anybody had any major problems. If you're a really tight knitter, you would need to use the 2.25mm needles. The only thing I will say, if you think it is working out tight, it's all to do with the elongated stitch. So you just would need to make sure that you leave a nice float in behind it, and that will be that sorted. So that, Susie, if you want to talk about do you want to talk about the grey colourway?
Yeah, so Angela sent me this beautiful photo of the bridge before home, and once I get a photo, I like to just pick out some colourways and make a bit of a palette as the splodges of colour. And I love that the grey bridge there were lots of different shades of grey from the beautiful stones. Is it maybe like sort of a dry, almost looks like a sort of dry stone walling kind of bridge, lots of different shades of grey, kind of flint colours. So we definitely needed a tonal grey. And you can see, it looks nice, isn't it? Like all the different bricks being put together in the bridge. And I think the effect from the lace is beautiful, because it's a sort of, is it like a Roman bridge, you know, where it's like an arch made with the bricks, and it's really created that. It's like, I don't know how many of you have watched Postman Pat.
That's the bridge.
It's a beautiful little curved bridge like that with a little stream underneath. And I think you've really captured that in the lace, and hopefully the colour works really nicely to capture the shades of grey in the bridge as well. Shall I go through the other colourways as well, or do you just want to look at?
Then Susie sent me some yarn, and I did it in the green colourway. So this was the green that was in the foliage and things around the bridge, and I used 5 of the micro minis that Susie has dyed, isn't it? Or 20 grams.
Okay. So micro. So we've got lots of different options, but for just doing the little stripes like Angela's done, some 10-gram micros will be enough alongside a 100-gram skein. So we had all the different shades of green for all that beautiful foliage that was in the picture.
And then I had just then when it came to the toe to bring in the grey, I had just done some striping and brought the grey into the toe of the sock.
So you've got it on sparkle there, haven't you? And then I've got this is not sparkle, so this is just a regular sock for anyone who's not a fan of sparkle. It
took minimal amount. I mean, you could probably out of the 10 grams you definitely could do a much longer leg, so you could incorporate more stripes into your foot depending on your shoe size, but I only did 4 rows out of the 8 in the different colors, and put the grey in between. You can just about see it in between.
So you did the plain knitting between your lace was the grey.
The grey, and then I just did the actual bridge part, the lace part in the colourway. So you could reverse that, and you could do the, and still make the lace work in the grey if you wanted. There's so many different options, but I really liked the idea of it using the different colours in the leg. I thought it was quite nice.
It makes the lace really stand out as well, doesn't it?
that was your idea at the beginning. Susie sent the photograph back, and she had coloured it in just on the computer screen with squiggly lines, and I thought that wouldn't work. But then when I tried it, it did. It was lovely. And some of the test knitters used self-striping and things as well, so
nice.
It works with, it works with 101 different things. So that is the Bridge Before Home socks. And Susie, do you want to chat just about the various options and things that you're going to put in the shop and how the yarn's going to work?
Yeah, so as Angela said, there's lots of different ways that you could knit this up, and you could do as was it Heather, your tester, who did it all in the tonal grey? Yep, that was really effective on its own, just as one colour for the whole sock.
Yeah.
But there are lots of different options. If you've been in my shop before, then you'll know I like to give lots of different options so you can get things just right. So you could have the tonal grey with green contrast cuff and toe, and you could even do the stripes like Angela's done, but just with one colour, or you could reverse it and have green with a grey toe and heel and stripy bits. Or there's also an option to have the grey with your 5 green shades in micros, so that you can have the different coloured stripe for each bit of lace on the leg. I've also done the greens on 20-gram minis, so you could just get 5 green shades of minis and have stripy socks, or however you want to do them. There's 2 base options available as well. So this is the sparkle sock, which hopefully you can just catch a little bit of that in the light there. So you just get a little, we wanted to capture the sparkle of the running water, didn't we, under the
and the sparkle's beautiful. Even in the photograph I put up sort of in the black and white, I couldn't believe how the sparkle, shone through. It's really, really nice. It really is effective.
A regular sock base, so this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 425 meters for 100 gram skein. And then the sparkle one is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina, and it's 400 meters per skein, so tiny bit plumper. I love the super sock one because it's a 4-ply construction. I'm on my phone camera, so it won't show up as well if I try to show you, but if you kind of push the yarn towards itself, you can see that there's 4 skinny little strands that have been twisted together, and that really high twist gives you a lovely stitch definition. So if you are doing lace, then it's a really nice base to use. It's a really smooth sock base, and then the sparkle sock is quite a similar construction to some other sock yarn bases that dyes use, where it's actually 2 thicker plies that are twisted together. They both give a lovely finish to the sock.
You
but
definitely,
I like
you definitely would feel it.
Yeah,
you definitely, and the stitch definition is lovely.
Yeah,
and it's really nice. So yeah, that's basically the Bridge Before Home socks pattern and Susie's lovely yarn. The pattern's available just on Ravelry, and the yarn's available on your Etsy, aren't you, right, Susie? Yeah. Just Etsy. Yeah. So the two's totally independent. So just pop along to Ravelry if you want to buy the pattern. The details are all there, and then you can pop across to Susie and pick up some lovely yarn. And I'm sure she has other lovely yarns in the shop if you want to go down your own route of colours. But the green for coming into spring is really nice. It's sort of bright, and I think some brightness just at the moment would be nice on our needles, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's it, absolutely. We did try to work out a way, didn't we, where we can maybe do a kit, and it came as one, but it got quite complicated, so we thought we'll just do them separately. So
in that way, but it worked out. I think that was the simplest way, and just give everybody the chance to do what they wanted to do. So they did. So has anybody any questions? Maybe if you have any questions in the comments about the yarn or the pattern, we can try and answer them. I've never knit with 2 millimeters for socks. You mean you've never done it, or don't ever knit with 2 millimeter needles for socks, Ruth? No, I started off with 2.25s, and I really like the stitch definition of the two mil. It, you know, I just notice an awful difference in the sock and in the wearability of it too. So I personally would never reach for 2.25s unless I'm knitting for, you know, for someone that I'm not just quite sure of the size of the foot, you know, and I know the 2.25 has slightly more stretch, but no, I always do 2 millimeter needles. Try it, Ruth. You never know, you might like it.
She's saying, would it be okay for casting on? Do you cast on quite tight, Ruth? Maybe might need a bigger needle of casting on. Is that what you're thinking?
Oh yeah, sorry, that was frozen. Yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Well, you could do the cuffing. You could do the cuffing with 2.25.
When I first started knitting, I started with 2.5. I was so tight. I'm such a tight knitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you definitely could. You could do the cuff with the 2, you know, the 2.5, or you could even add the extra stitches onto the cuff, you know, and then you know, come down on your stitches for the pattern then on the leg, and the pattern tells you how to go back up to the normal stitch count for the heel and the foot. So it's basically just this part, just where you do the pattern, is where there's the lesser number of stitches. So the cuff is the normal 64, and the heel and then down the foot's the normal 64. So the difference is just in the leg part. 2.25 for Nora Baddies. Oh, very good, Helen. Very good. Yeah, Helen was one of the test knitters. I think she knit hers in 2.25. Yeah.
Hi, Francine.
I think my screen's freezing a wee bit. Yeah. Oh, is
that all the questions?
Cankles. Yeah, Dawn Cankles. Hi.
Yeah, it's lovely. Very pretty pattern.
Right. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. I like the 2.25 best. 2 millimeters too tight, and I'm not a tight.
Yeah. It's funny how we all have our own gauge and own preferences, isn't it?
Yeah.
And our own little recipes as well. I often find if I'm doing a sock pattern, I'll use the lace idea, and then I'm like, yeah, I can't do that heel and this toe, and you sort of have your own little recipe for it, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes you really are buying the pattern for, you know, you buy the pattern for the wee bit of whatever the pattern is actually in the sock, and then you use your own recipe for the rest of it. And so you do. But yeah, thank you very much everybody for joining. Lots of different names there, and I hope you do enjoy the pattern if you fancy treating yourself. And don't forget to pop across to Susie's shop if you would like to treat yourself to some nice yarn. Susie, is it dyed to order just maybe?
Yes, so it'll be pre-orders. I'm hoping that the first batch of pre-orders will go out on the 14th, so just about a 2-week turnaround, well, a week and a half, and then I'll probably do one more batch after that. So yeah, if you want to pre-order it, then waiting for your yarn, you can be checking the pattern, making sure you've got your right size needles and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Fran, you said 54, 56. Well, I would, if you cast on the do your cuff on that size on your normal needle, the leg will be fine then. Yeah. Hey, don't enable me. Oh, we have to enable you. It wouldn't be good if we went off here and hadn't enabled somebody. Sure, it wouldn't. We wouldn't have done a good job. So we wouldn't. Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's everything. thank you very much, Susie, for joining, and thank you for all your help with the yarn. I'm really pleased with it. I think it really worked with the sock, and if anybody purchases it, please do use the hashtag Bridge Before Home Socks, and tag in Susie as well, and you can see all the different socks, what's coming off the needles. I think we had talked about maybe doing a knit along, and we said we would maybe announce that after this weekend. If I get another weekend, I think I should be feeling better to get that organised. So we'll keep you up to date on Instagram and let you know about that. Maybe start it just in around maybe St. Patrick's Day or something like that. We could start a knit along, and that way if anybody was ordering yarn, they would have it by then.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
I shop with Susie at night. Is she good? She keep her shop open late for all, does she?
24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I'm normally answering messages during the night feeds as well, because people in the States are maybe messaging later on in the evening, and I'm up answering messages when I'm doing the night feeds.
Yeah.
You'll keep me company.
Yeah, the girl that does the tech editing, she's actually from overseas, and when she sends it through, I'll have the phone in the middle of the night replying, you know, because that's when you can catch her. My husband thinks that I've lost the plot, but sure, all knitters have to be a wee bit off the plot, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Really nice to see you.
Thank you. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Yes. You too, Susie.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela.
No, thank you, Susie, for joining. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.